The National Electrical Code Section 700.12a addresses the permissible locations for supplying exit and emergency lighting from the local lighting circuit ahead of the light switch. These locations primarily include assembly halls, lecture halls, restaurants, dance halls, garages, gymnasiums, swimming pools, theaters, and similar places of assembly. The reasoning behind this allowance is to ensure that emergency lighting remains functional even if the normal lighting circuits are switched off, providing a continuous path of illumination for safe egress. The code recognizes that in these types of occupancies, large gatherings of people necessitate reliable emergency lighting to prevent panic and ensure orderly evacuation during power outages or other emergencies. Section 700.12 at-war extends this allowance to factories, warehouses, and similar occupancies where the ceiling height exceeds 20 feet or 6.1 meters. In such high ceiling environments, the effectiveness of emergency lighting can be compromised if it is tied to the same circuit as the general lighting. By connecting the emergency lighting ahead of the light switch, the code ensures that the illumination remains available, even if the normal lighting is switched off for maintenance or energy conservation purposes. This provision is particularly important in industrial settings where workers may need to navigate complex machinery and storage areas during emergencies. Section 700.12a3 further broadens the scope to include any occupancy where exits or evacuation routes are not readily visible. This provision recognizes that in certain buildings or spaces, the layout may be complex or confusing, making it difficult for occupants to locate exits during emergencies. By requiring emergency lighting to be powered independently of the normal lighting circuits, the code ensures that the evacuation routes remain clearly illuminated, regardless of the status of the general lighting. This is especially critical in buildings with multiple levels, interconnected corridors, or obscured exits. Section 700.12 adds another layer of safety by including any occupancy where the loss of normal lighting would create a panic or other dangerous condition. This provision acknowledges that in certain environments, the sudden loss of lighting can trigger panic and disorientation, leading to accidents and injuries. By ensuring that emergency lighting remains operational even when the normal lighting fails, the code helps to maintain a sense of calm and order, facilitating a safer and more controlled evacuation. This provision is particularly relevant in healthcare facilities, childcare centers, and other occupancies where vulnerable populations may be present. However, it is crucial to note that the National Electrical Code also imposes specific requirements for the emergency lighting circuits themselves. Section 700.12b mandates that the emergency lighting shall be provided from a separate circuit that is not subject to the control of the light switch. This requirement ensures that the emergency lighting system is independent of the normal lighting system, preventing a single point of failure from disabling both. The separate circuit must be designed to provide a reliable source of power to the emergency lighting fixtures, typically from a generator, battery backup system, or other alternative power source. This ensures that the emergency lighting will continue to function even if the normal power supply is interrupted. Section 700.12c specifies the minimum illumination level that the emergency lighting system must provide. The code requires that the emergency lighting shall be designed to provide a minimum illumination level of 0.5 foot candles or 0.54 lux on the floor at all points within the room or space. This level of illumination is intended to provide sufficient visibility for occupants to safely navigate the evacuation routes and locate exits during emergencies. The illumination level must be maintained throughout the duration of the emergency, typically for a minimum of 90 minutes, as specified by other sections of the National Electrical Code. It is important to consider the implications of these code requirements for the design, installation, and maintenance of emergency lighting systems. Firstly, the selection of appropriate emergency lighting fixtures is crucial to ensure that they meet the required illumination levels and provide adequate coverage of the evacuation routes. The fixtures must be designed to operate reliably on the alternative power source and to withstand the environmental conditions of the installation location. Secondly, The installation of the emergency lighting circuits must be carefully planned and executed to ensure that they are separate from the normal lighting circuits and that they are protected from damage or tampering. The circuits must be properly labeled and identified to facilitate maintenance and troubleshooting. Thirdly, regular testing and maintenance of the emergency lighting system are essential to ensure that it remains in proper working order. The code requires periodic testing of the system to verify that it is functioning correctly and that the batteries or other energy storage devices are fully charged. Any deficiencies identified during testing must be promptly corrected to maintain the reliability of the system. The National Electrical Code provides specific guidelines for the design, installation, and maintenance of emergency lighting systems, and it is essential to consult these guidelines to ensure compliance with the code. These guidelines cover topics such as the selection of appropriate emergency lighting fixtures, the installation of separate emergency lighting circuits, the testing and maintenance of the system, and the documentation of the system. The National Electrical Code also addresses the use of emergency power systems to supply emergency lighting. These systems must be designed to provide a reliable source of power to the emergency lighting fixtures during a power outage. The code specifies the types of emergency power systems that are permitted, the installation requirements for these systems, and the testing and maintenance requirements for these systems. The National Electrical Code also addresses the use of automatic transfer switches to switch between the normal power source and the emergency power source. These switches must be designed to automatically transfer to the emergency power source when the normal power source fails. The code specifies the installation requirements for these switches and the testing and maintenance requirements for these switches. The National Electrical Code also addresses the use of emergency lighting control systems. These systems are designed to control the operation of the emergency lighting fixtures. The code specifies the types of control systems that are permitted, the installation requirements for these systems, and the testing and maintenance requirements for these systems. The National Electrical Code also addresses the use of emergency lighting in specific types of occupancies. These occupancies include healthcare facilities, educational facilities, detention facilities, and high-rise buildings. The code specifies the additional requirements for emergency lighting in these occupancies. The design and installation of emergency lighting systems is a complex task that requires careful consideration of the applicable codes and standards. It is essential to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor to ensure that the emergency lighting system is designed and installed in accordance with the code. It is also important to obtain the necessary permits and inspections before installing the emergency lighting system. This will help to ensure that the system is installed safely and in accordance with the code. The National Electrical Code is a living document that is updated on a regular basis. It is important to stay up to date on the latest version of the code to ensure that your emergency lighting system is in compliance. The National Electrical Code is available from the National Fire Protection Association. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of rules and regulations for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is essential to consult the National Electrical Code when designing and installing emergency lighting systems to ensure that the system is safe and in compliance with the code. The National Electrical Code is a valuable resource for electrical engineers, contractors, and building owners. It provides the information needed to design and install safe and reliable electrical systems. The National Electrical Code is a key component of building safety. It helps to protect people and property from the hazards of electricity. The National Electrical Code is a constantly evolving document. It is updated on a regular basis to reflect changes in technology and safety practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest version of the National Electrical Code to ensure that your electrical systems are in compliance. The National Electrical Code is a complex document. It is important to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor to ensure that you understand the code and that your electrical systems are in compliance. The National Electrical Code is a critical tool for ensuring electrical safety. It helps to protect people and property from the hazards of electricity. The importance of the emergency lighting must not be understated. It is to provide light in critical situations such as a power outage due to a fire or a storm. It is a matter of safety in design.